what we're trying to create here is open space. We're trying to create a place where, hey, we can talk honestly and openly about, hey, what's going on in our lives? What are some of the things we're dealing with? What does it mean to live a Christian life?
We can be open, transparent, and let people into this space to find healing, to find restoration, to find redemption, and people to share vulnerably what they're dealing with, what they're going through, and we can explore those things with the Word of God. Hey guys, welcome to the Open Space podcast, and my name is Eric
John Boy.
What's your name?
Jedediah Boston. Welcome. welcome. How's it going, man?
It is going great. Let me see if my mic works right.
Yeah, that sounds like it's working. So, how have you been?
Going awesome. I've been good. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Yeah. Welcome to the Open Space podcast. It's Jed and Eric.
Yeah, you gave mine. I thought I was going to give yours.
Jed and Eric. So we're here again. Episode
number 3. It feels like number 4 for some reason, though.
I don't know. We will not take them into the backstory.
No.
Yeah, it's been this one. I would say there's been a lot of challenges to get this one going, but nonetheless, we're out here.
Yeah,
so
we're here.
We're here and excited.
Yeah. So, anyways, one of the things that we had been discussing over the last couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
Actually, this was just a thread that Eric had sent me, and it was just it was by Ask Men, and someone had posed this question.
Yeah.
Right. I'm worried about men's mental health. Men, who do you confide in 100%? And so I guess this person just wants to know, like, hey, men, who do you share with? Who do you open up to, talk with? And just are 100% open with and honest with, and do you have that? And
yeah, it's a Reddit thread, and I think they were trying to get some discussion going. You know how Reddit threads be?
Yeah, though that's a dangerous place to be.
Yeah, I used to be on Reddit a while ago when I first opened my account, and I would read the most insane things off of Reddit.
Yeah.
It is like this backdoor.
Any weird question you might have about life you find on Reddit.
Yeah, I think, and some people actually live their lives off of Reddit.
Yeah.
Like that is the compass that guides their lives.
You hear how people respond on Reddit and you have concern. Like, what is going on?
The conversations are like this. They literally will. Like, sometimes you read the prompt or the subtitle of the question and the answers will be totally unrelated.
Yeah.
And you're like, I thought we were talking about this, and literally for 10 minutes or 20 minutes straight, nobody is talking about the topic. But that's Reddit for you. But I think I thought it was a great prompt. And so we decided that today our topic was going to be talking about men and vulnerability.
Yeah, vulnerability.
Basically. Openness, vulnerability.
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
The things. I don't know what this exact title we're going to give it, but
whatever. We'll figure out a title. But before we even get started on this, though, because yes, it's a topic that we're going to be talking about men and mental health and vulnerability and just openness and finding, close friends and people you can talk with.
Yeah.
But this isn't just for the men, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, because I feel like everyone has a man in their life.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a friend or if it's a brother, even if you grew up with only sisters, you still have interacted with men. Maybe your boss is a man.
Yeah, or so have a dad or...
Yeah, I think, since we're sharing this space called universe, Earth together, I think you're going to run into men one way or the other. Yeah. So I think this would help... anybody that is listening.
Both men and women. Maybe it'll help you to understand men better, or maybe there's something we're sharing, and even though it's geared towards men, it's for you as well. So, men aren't the only ones who struggle with being vulnerable, but today we're kind of focusing in on that a little bit.
Yeah, maybe I'm just curious what the answers are. Jed will not read all the details. But.
Yeah, so someone posed a question that they're worried about men's mental health, and they're asking, like, man, who do you confide in? Who do you share openly and honestly about? And most of the men are saying no one. Like, the answer is no one, not even close to 100%.
That's the bottom line.
Someone said 60% at best. to the person they trust most, an older brother or a friend. Someone else said, 1, nobody. 2, my dog. He has been fantastic. 3, the voice in my head. And 4, nobody. Not even if they swear they won't judge. Oh, wait. And then number 5, the handlebars on my bike. So like we said, that doesn't...
What?
I don't know. But that's Reddit. That's Reddit for you.
I mean, you have a motorbike. Do you talk to your motorbike? Do you like talk to the handlebars?
Not to the handlebars, but I mean, I'll be talking.
And you have a dog too. Do you
What?
talk to your dog? Like, do you actually
Oh, I do.
confide in your dog?
I don't confide in my dog. But I talk to him. I tell him he's a good boy, or
I feel
not
like
so good.
that's one way of traumatizing dogs too. Like
Yeah.
they have their own trauma they're dealing with. Like
Yeah.
where are you going? But that's kind of sad, man. Like
Yeah.
handlebars,
Yeah.
bike. What?
Like-
What?
Yeah.
Like that's who you confide in. Is there another one that maybe has a different?
Actually, I was just scrolling through them, and someone said 99% of the time, no one. I'm on my own, or I'm my own therapist, so to speak.
Yeah.
So again, no one. Let's see. Oh, I guess they had talked about their wife being their last resort, and so some guy asked, why is your wife a last resort?"
Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Their wife is their last resort.
Yeah.
Okay, that is not good.
Yeah. No.
That's crazy. Who do you confide in, man? Like,
Yeah.
who do you confide in?
Yeah. No. I've been blessed to have people in my life that I feel like I can open up with and share with. One of them being my roommate. I've gotten closer and closer with him. He's a good man, good Christian man that I feel like comfortable just talking about anything with because he's opened up with me. I got you as well. I got another friend, John, and so there's a lot of people that I feel comfortable just talking to, opening up with, and sharing kind of the things that are going on in my life. But yeah, so I've been fortunate enough to find that in my life, but it wasn't something that I just got right away. It's not something that just came naturally. And it like growing up, I like originally I always felt weird like when I started to open up and share about my life.
Yeah.
Like, am I supposed to do this? Like, are you supposed to know what's going on in my life?
Yeah,
But-
sometimes it's too much, and I think men are also very slow processors.
Yeah.
Like we take quite a lot of time to process things, especially from an emotional standpoint, because we do not normally, at least our culture is not wired that way.
Yeah.
But also, even just the way we're built as men,
Yeah.
generally speaking, we do not normally just,
And to piggy off that, because look, ladies, this is for you too. If your man needs to process, give him some room and some space.
some
Don't be like, oh, what's wrong? What's going on? Like,
tell me
like,
now.
look, I don't even know yet. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong.
Yeah. I think, I know that they do that, of course, like out of a desire to be helpful and to be supportive. But I also know that a lot of the times that comes off of, at least a lot of guys that I've talked to and I have interacted with. Now, for me personally, just a little bit of a tangent, I feel like even though I've always had more female friends around me, and that's partly because maybe I grew up with women. I lost my dad at a very young age, so of course, I was always surrounded. I had my mother. I had like this. I've been raised by strong women, and those women have kind of basically nurtured me and created this kind of guy that is. I'm okay with talking about my emotions, but I still feel like even then I am not. It doesn't come easy. It doesn't come like. The first time I meet somebody, I'm not gonna be like telling you like stuff like I feel like some people have that kind of openness, but I don't. And culturally, where I come from too, I come from African culture is very interesting. Like guys, you talk about patriarchy, and like this kind of male dominance and male, just like having this macho man mindset, and it is so much more prevalent in Africa. Because you are kind of like looked at for all of these things. Like, for example, when my dad died, like our entire lives like changed because he was everything for the family. And so like when you have that kind of structure built around, like we kind of have men raised in that kind of structure, it is kind of hard because the expectations are really high, the standards are really high, what people think you should do should be in every situation is kind of different. And so for me personally, even then, even though I was surrounded by women, I still had a hard time being vulnerable and opening up and being, very candid about things that I was dealing with. And so it took time.
So here's a question then. So why do you think that men have such a hard time, or why do you think it doesn't come naturally for us to just open up and share what's going on in our lives?
I think, of course, the elephant in the room is always going to be, I think, it comes down to trust. It comes down to the like, for example, that one guy that said, I don't trust that they are not going to use this against me, or that they're not going to use it to hurt me, and so it's mostly a protective instinct, because men, naturally, our protection sensors are higher, or are always up, because we are wired to be protectors
and here,
sense or another.
And even off of that, like, a lot of times men are the ones kind of looked up to be the, the provider, the one who's, has a real focused mind on what should be done and how things should be done.
Yeah.
And so if they're caught losing it or not having it all together, then it might cause others to feel like unsafe. Like, if he's stressing out, if he's worried, like how bad could it be? And so we're like, sometimes we put up this front, like, no, everything's good. Like,
Yeah. And there is a place for that, though.
Yeah.
There is a place for that, because I actually strongly believe that when you're a man and you're leading a family, like, you are supposed to be the one that is holding the family, like, at least together. This is my perspective. And of course you can disagree depending on what school of thought you come from. But I think that, when my family is under a specific challenge and attack, I'm supposed to protect the peace in the family. I'm supposed to make sure that we go through this safely and securely and successfully. And that might mean underplaying how bad it is.
So then how would a man go about, what's a healthy way for a man to then begin to share some of share some of those things, be vulnerable about what's going on? Like, what's a good outlet for him, right? Because if maybe not everything's suitable to share with the kids or share with everyone around you, but how do you create a good, safe outlet for you to
personally, I would think that even when you are going through a specific challenge, whatever challenge it may be, you still have to have someone that you're opening up to. You still have to have someone that you're talking to, like 100% about what's going on, like being real. I'm not saying like you tell them all the gross details and the girly, like just all the things that are not, that might be nasty. I think that it is important for you, for men to still have, you can still have a cushion. You can still have a network of guys or people, a band of brothers that you are relying on to kind of carry you through it.
And how important is it, the brothers you choose?
Oh, man, that is such a big deal. That is such a big deal. But
because I know there's,
no, you're right. Because it's not like every group of men that you plug in is going to be giving you the support that you need.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might be even more harmful and more hurtful, and more negative than helpful. But 15% of men today, I was reading an article a while ago, and it said that 15% of men today said that they didn't have anybody that they are close to. Yeah. Like they didn't have anyone they're close to. That is regardless of having a mother, like not even their mothers, not even their, and I've heard a lot of men feel more comfortable like calling their moms and talking to them about stuff.
Yeah.
But like these, like 15%, this number is like, they say like it had basically quadrupled over the last 10 years.
And I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but I even think social media, has, this thing that was created to kind of bring people together,
Yeah.
I think you're finding is isolating people, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about that today because I was like, in an age where we're more connected than ever, we're also the least connected.
Yeah.
And then, there is some other thing that was so intriguing to me that I was thinking about. Everyone is lonely.
Yeah.
Everyone is.
I think it's because everyone has a bunch of fake friends.
Everyone has friends online. They
Yeah,
have an
friends
online
online.
community.
Yeah.
They have an online community. They have a dating.
Oh, look at me. I got
online,
1,000 followers.
people date online and they've never met before.
Yeah.
I had this friend in college, and she had a boyfriend, and this boyfriend was, I think, it's another country in Europe.
Yeah.
They had never met before, but they were in a relationship,
Yeah.
and they had been dating for like months. And she said they hadn't even, like people like that do like a bunch of video calls, a lot of it, like long distance relationships, but they hadn't even done that.
Yeah.
Like they're just texting, like just it's a thumb relationship, like literally, like just.
I would get annoyed
I was
too
like,
quickly.
yeah,
I couldn't do that.
I knew it wouldn't work, but I think she was just using it because she felt like nobody was asking her out. No, she was not engaging with guys as maybe some of her friends were, and so she just found this guy online and they just started talking, and that kind of became the relationship it was. And I'm like, how do you have a relationship with someone you've never even met?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have to meet in person, but you can meet online.
You also, like, you meet people today.
Yeah.
Like, all their closest friends are other guys they've been talking to on video games, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're all online. Like, oh, where's your best friend at? And he's in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Never actually met him, but
we care about each other. We check in on each other. We video chat, like 7 hours a week, and it's crazy. But like, it's so heartbreaking though, from what you were saying, that a lot of guys today, that number is like 4 times higher than it was 10 years ago. So I honestly just see that it's gonna get worse if guys do not actually wake up and make the decision to put themselves at risk, because like we were saying, opening yourself up to real relationships and open relationships and vulnerable relationships requires a certain level of risk.
Yeah.
Because the word vulnerable, the Latin root word of that word means to wound.
Yeah.
And it means you're exposing parts of yourself to the possibility of being hurt.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, like we're saying, because we are protectors, and we like to not only protect ourselves but protect the people around us. We want to shield ourselves from as much risk of being hurt as possible.
Yeah.
And that is always going to keep you away from opening up and letting people see the real you.
Yeah, and I think that's too another reason. Like yes, I have people in my life that I share openly with, but it's like I don't just do that on day one. Like I spend time with them. I build up a relationship with them. I'm hanging out with them regularly before I even think about starting to share, some of the, deep, dark sins or things that I've struggled with in the past, or just things that I'm going through, because I find that I need to trust them first, right? And I got to build that trust. And maybe it starts with sharing a little bit of my life and seeing how they handle it, and then sharing more of my life and kind of seeing, how they respond, if they give me good advice, good feedback.
Maybe you should tell them kind of just how our relationship kind of unfolded, because I think that could give insight into basically how that works.
Yeah. So I mean, Eric and I, like, we met probably about 3 years ago now. It's getting close to 3 years.
Yeah.
And we didn't click right away, but we started off just meeting in a small group, and just over time, we started hanging out outside of the small group, and as we hung out more, we enjoyed each other's company. And a lot of the first things we did, we weren't opening up right away. We were just finding fun activities to do, fun ways to hang out. And as that happened more and more, we just started sharing more vulnerably, just our lives and what's going on. And to the point where it's like, hey, we could just go and be like, hey, look, I'm struggling with this. Like, can you pray for me? Or, but yeah, I mean, that was a progression. It took years to at least a year, I think, to build up to that even.
Yeah.
Um,
It took time, but I think that ultimately we were just we were open to just
Yeah.
having really meaningful conversations, because again, the other thing is a lot of guys meet and the only thing they talk about is football,
yeah.
hunting,
Yeah.
or what else? Trucks, cars,
Trucks,
maybe.
cars,
I don't
girls.
know. Girls, yeah. throw that
How's
in
your
there.
dog?
Yeah, how's your dog? It's fine. I mean, I just took him for a
Yeah.
walk, man. How cool is that?
The conversation gets
Yeah.
so plain
So
and
basic
bland,
and
though,
boring.
yeah.
And I think for me personally, that is why I didn't have a lot of guy friends when I was
Yeah.
growing up, because I always felt like their conversations were so pathetic.
Yeah.
Like, why do you meet up just to talk about the same game you watched? Both of you watched the stupid game.
Yeah.
So like, why are you like, this is the main point of conversation? And so a lot of guys feel like every time they get into these situations, they have to talk about, and they talk about the same things.
Yeah.
I'm like, you could talk about how your week was. Can you actually tell us what you actually dealt with this week?
Yeah.
Like, what did you have to overcome? What did you have to, maybe you cried. What you cry about? Like, tell us. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
But I think, when you remove those trust boundaries, because again, men, when they meet up in groups, they just want to, they want other guys to respect them and honor them and make them feel like, they belong to the band.
Yeah.
And so they feel the need to just talk about the same things. But when we met, we every time, one layer, because I think
Like an onion.
Yeah, there is layers. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, it is like an onion, because it's one layer is peeled off at a time, and the closer you get to one another, the easier it is for you to share from the deepest points of your hearts. And eventually we're able to talk about weaknesses, things you're struggling with, things I'm struggling with, and then we prayed together, we supported each other, and this is consistent and continually going on. And I think as a guy, as every man needs that, every guy needs that, even if you just one friend, you don't need 5, you don't need 10, you just need one guy, and just dump all your baggage on them.
Yeah, all at one time.
All at one time. They'll be okay. They'll be handled.
They might not show up again. They might.
You might scare them off. But like we said, it's an onion. You peel it one step at a time. But I did want to share a verse before we end. I wanted to share this verse that I came across that I think is really, really, it speaks to exactly what we're talking about as soon as I can find it. Let's see. Well, it's not there. Okay, guys, give me a minute. This is not good. Okay, I think I'm almost there. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 4. I know Ecclesiastes is after Proverbs. Why is this taking me so long? Okay. Here, it says that two are better than one. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9, and it says 2 are better than one because they have a good return for their work. So this is these relationships are not just for social relationships, but even just work and pursuing whatever God has called you to pursue. If one falls down, his friend can help him up. But pity the man who falls and has no one to help him up.
Yeah.
Also, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? The one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken.
Yeah, that's a good verse.
Yeah, I know. Like, I that's why I chose it. No, but like it speaks to basically the durability. Like men today, there's higher rates of men committing suicide than women, and that's partly because there's just a significant level of loneliness, of emptiness, of that just big voids that are not felt and not filled.
Now, do you remember maybe a time in your life though that you had because I don't know about you. I know for my life, there was a time when I was in my teenage years where I didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
And do you remember a time in your life where
Oh yeah, I mean, actually for a long time I didn't even want to say I had a well, I didn't want to say I had a best friend.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm now realizing was so stupid and dumb. But like I always thought like, oh, that's not necessary. Like, why do you
Yeah.
need to have a best friend? But that's because I also never had anyone that I fully confided in.
Yeah.
Like I never had anyone that I was like talking about these things, these deep things that I was struggling with, or things that
Yeah.
I was processing, or things that, even that doesn't only have to be struggles. It can be all other things as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have that, and I had friends that were close, like semi-close, like,
Yeah.
but we talked about the normal
Yeah.
things. We kept it,
You
in
kept it in the
between-
box.
between specific.
This is what you can
boundaries.
talk about.
This
Don't
is
go
all
out
we
here.
can
Don't
talk
go out
about.
here.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
just crack the same jokes, talk about the same topics, and
Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't, and now I'm thankful that I do. I'm
Mm-hmm.
now thankful that I have you. I have other friends,
Yeah.
a couple friends that I can talk to about things that are going
Yeah.
on, and it's so much better, man.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so much freeing. It's even easier for accountability.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so refreshing, and I
Yeah.
think every guy needs to experience that.
Oh yeah,
So bad.
absolutely. I remember a time in my life where I had been holding things in my life, holding things that I'd been struggling with, and not letting anyone into my life. And there was years as a teenager where I kind of had like a hard heart. I didn't,
Yeah.
things would happen, but you talked about crying earlier. It's like I would never cry. I was like years without crying,
Yeah.
and there's just different things that I was struggling with in my life. And I remember one time I ended up going to a youth leader and finally like opening up and sharing some of the things going on in my life and like, bawling my eyes out. And I don't typically do that,
Yeah.
And when I did do it, I was like, okay, I got to find like an area where there's no one else walking around. Like it's just me and this person.
You gotta be in secret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, it's a big release when you finally open up about the struggles that are going on in your life.
Yeah.
Because sometimes these things can be very weighty on you. They can hold you down.
It weighs you down.
And
Yeah.
it's one of the most freeing things to
that is so
finally
good.
get it off your chest, to find a man or someone that you really just trust, and to open up fully, like, hey, this is what's going on in my life, and to let it out. Those are some of the most freeing moments.
Maybe the one thing that I was told, someone mentioned this to me, and they said, you travel fast when you travel light.
Oh yeah, that's a Kenyan proverb right there.
It is?
Yeah, the way it goes is.
I didn't know you were Kenyan.
Oh, I'm Kenyan. Look, the proverb goes: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
That's not the same thing, but
What did you say?
I said you travel fast when you travel light.
Oh, whatever. That too.
No, but they're both true though.
Yeah.
That kind of underscores the scripture we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I was talking about the specific idea that you said about just that thing weighing you down. Like
Yeah.
you were trying to go somewhere, but you have so much
Oh,
baggage,
yeah,
so
yeah.
much burden, so many things that you're holding on to that you haven't let out.
Yeah.
And once you let it out and expose it into the light, then, oh my gosh, everything becomes so much
Start
better.
dropping the weight.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You start dropping the weight. But we want to hear from you. If you guys, like, do you have friends? Do you have people in your circle that you confide in, that you find peace talking to?
Yeah.
And maybe, you want to share maybe how hard it's been for you to find that someone, because I think that it's not easy.
It's not easy all the
not
time.
easy.
I know there's a time in my life where that's something that I had to pray about. But yeah. Share with us, open up.
Just let us know, and we would love to, just pray with you and support you, and and also thank you for coming to the open space.
Thanks for tuning
I
in.
think this was a great one. I hope that you guys share this, subscribe, or do whatever you want to do. But we want to interact with you. Leave us some comments, please. I want to respond to all your comments, because I think that's fun. It's always fun to read all the people's opinions about the pod. But thank you guys, and we hope to see you in the next pod. But for now, Eric and Jed,
Eric and Jed, we're out.